Live to our reporter Mbongeni Mutwa, who's at OR Tambo International Airport in Johannesburg. Mbongeni, thanks so much for joining us. It still looks very quiet behind you. What's the situation at the airport, particularly with SAA?
Oh, well, Peter, you are absolutely correct. It's very quiet at the moment. Earlier on, up until around lunchtime, there was a bit of activity, especially at the SAA ticket sales counter to my left. And what was causing that activity was you had flights arriving, especially from abroad, from various destinations, with passengers who were supposed to land here and then connect to various destinations in the region, as SAA likes to call it, to neighboring countries, Botswana, Namibia, Mauritius, and so on. And it turned out that most of those people were not aware of this problem of the strike here when they boarded those planes from wherever they came from, whether it was from Europe or South America. They only found out upon landing here that, in fact, they can't connect to finish their destinations because there's a strike. So they were taken to that counter there where they tried to get them onto other airlines, connecting airlines, like your Air Mauritius, Air Namibia, and so on. Those that were lucky did get seats, and they were not delayed for more than an hour maybe. But some were terribly frustrated because they could only secure them flights, say, tomorrow afternoon. There was a couple that was on honeymoon from Austria that we spoke to earlier. They were on their way to Mauritius, but they couldn't finish the journey today. They only found a flight for them on Air Mauritius for tomorrow afternoon, which meant that they had to stay another day here in Johannesburg at their own cost and then lose a whole day of their vacation in Mauritius. So it was terribly frustrating. But at the moment, it's clear now, it's very quiet. We don't have many arrivals at the moment, although we are expecting a flight from Washington, an SAA flight from Washington, we're told, is scheduled to land here, and we are told that Bafana are going to be on that flight. They will be arriving on that flight from Washington. It's going to be arriving at around 4 o'clock. That's the latest we have at the moment.
You know, you're describing the plight of some of those passengers, and it's usually in situations like this that tempers flare and voices are raised. Did you witness any of that at all today?
Not exactly. We didn't experience any tantrums or anything like that. I can say that most people were well behaved, and you know, it's very interesting that it's not only people arriving from outside the country that got here only to encounter this problem. For some reason, the counter behind me, as you can see, is it's local check-ins mainly. There's been quite a lot of people as well who've arrived here, were booked to fly on SAA to various destinations, only to get, and they were not aware that there is a strike that's affecting SAA. That includes even local people. But right now, let me quickly chat to the lady to my right. She is from SAA. We understand she is responsible for customer relations. Ma'am, if you can just quickly tell us, how has been the day so far with regards to people who have arrived here not aware that there is a strike going on, and how have you chipped in to help them?
Good afternoon to SABC and the listeners. The customers that arrived this morning who did not hear our call or see our messages, obviously they are either connecting or they were coming from different airlines. And once again, we express our apologies to them, but they had found the team that was ready to receive them. We have managed to clear them. As you can see, the counters are empty. We have managed to reroute them on our code-share partners. The domestic ones have gone on SAA Express. Some went on SAA Link. Some went on Mango, because we have made those arrangements where we have rebooked them. And majority of the customers did not come through because they listened to our request when we're saying, because we have cancelled our flights, they should not come to the airport. And majority of them have been helped through our contact centers where they are rebooked, and some have cancelled, and we have actually started the refund processes with those customers.
So far, can you say that you are coping with the situation?
We are coping with the situation. It is not the ideal situation, but what makes us happy is that we do not have despondent customers at the airports who are frustrated not knowing where to go.
Lastly, if you can just please identify yourself. I forgot to ask you at the beginning, your name, your name and your position. Yeah?
My name is Balima Bena. I'm the acting head of customer service.
We really appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Well, Peter, that's the latest. And then, of course, tomorrow focus shifts to the resumption of wage negotiations. SAA is scheduled to kickstart talks with the unions that are striking, which is NUMSA and the South African Cabin Crew Association, from 9 o'clock at the SAA head office, where the people have been picketing. So obviously, a lot is riding on negotiations now to try and resolve this. But one must say that it doesn't look like a resolution of this can be imminent or around the corner. The parties are quite far apart in terms of what the unions are demanding, the 8%, and what SA is offering, the 5.9%, which they say even that offer that they're making, it's money they don't have. They are making an offer to say that if you accept this, we will then go out and try and find the money in the financial markets to borrow the money to give this increase. Even that, we can only do that next year from April onwards and so on. So it doesn't look like a resolution is imminent here. And also, SAA technical, we've got unions there, which is SATAO, even though they are weak now, they even have a breakaway union that broke away from them, the National Transport Movement, and then Solidarity as well. They are also sitting with strike certificates to be able to down tools as well as from next week, Thursday, we understand. And that time is also fast approaching. So at the moment, SAA is really in a very invidious position. In fact, since no one has had a glimpse of their financial statements for the past 2 years, a lot of people are even doubting that the company, SAA, is even a going concern at the moment. Many people believe that it's possible that SAA actually is just a shell at the moment. It's bankrupt. And really the future of SAA at the moment is really in the spotlight, and it looks like it's going to be that way for the foreseeable future.
Mbongeni, thanks very much indeed. We'll leave it there for the time being, but hopefully we can cross to you again for another update a little bit later on. We'll continue with this coverage of the SAA situation.